Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful lake, the house of David. Let's get into this. This is gonna be I had one. I know I said this a few videos back that I want to start doing like videos, like giving y'all precepts of the day, well, scriptures of the day, and make a lesson on it. You know. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this, with Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, you know. We're going to read into it. Well, we're going to read the verse. Listen, this is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Well, I had got on my my other device. Let me get it right here so y'all can see it. Salakia. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Heart goes into the Hebrew word loud, because we got lob. Because you got to remember, all this was written to the Hebrew Israelites. So this was written in original Hebrew, and the word for heart is lob, which goes into mind. You know? So it says, trust in the Lord in all capitals, Yahweh, with all thy heart, your mind, and lean not unto your own understanding, you know. You saying, oh, okay, hold on. It's actually this way without checking in with the scriptures, without checking in with men who are well versed in the scriptures, you know. You're as soon as something pops in your mind, you go with that conclusion, you know, and you end up in a bad situation. Then you end up finding off you went off, and then you end up finding off you sin. You be like, damn, I should have got counsel before I did that. I should have got counsel before I made that move. You know, I should have looked up. I should have seen if there look for any situation in the scriptures that I'm dealing with and that are similar to the situation. You know. You know, or if anybody going through the same problems I'm going through in the scriptures, or if there's some precepts that can help me in this situation, in this decision, in this mental struggle, or whatever you're going through, you know, you search the scriptures, because that's where his understandings come from, you know. He's given us everything needed for salvation in this book. You know? Let's read that one more time. Trust in the Lord, in all capitals Yahweh, with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And the information you be dealing with, like the information for the situation you be dealing with, don't be too far off. Sometimes it'll just pop up in a video. Sometimes you'll see a sign with a Bible verse. You look up that Bible verse, it's like it's pinpointed for you. You know, you be like, man. You give praise to the Most High. You be like, Kahala Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, all praise. You know, all praise to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. You know. You know, this goes into trusting in him. Because what? You trusting him by what? Trusting in the scriptures. You know, trusting in the scriptures. Because that's where our trust coming from. This is where our hope coming from. Everything that's going on now in our day, in our time, what's happening now as we speak, all that has been pre-spoken about, predicted in scriptures. Everything that's going on, the scripture has already foretold it. You know? Scriptures has already foretold it. So once you start thinking, okay, how I'm gonna get out of this, how I'm gonna maneuver out of this, you start trying to think your way out of it about things you learn, about being a survivalist, about being about doom prepping, by bunker prepping. You trying to do everything. You trying to do everything the way the world is doing it, and you're leaning on your own understanding. That's not gonna get you saved. That's not gonna get you out of the situation. It might get you a little bit further on the journey. It might get you a little bit further on the journey, but it's not gonna save you. It's not gonna get you out the situation. You know. You gotta lean on him. You gotta call upon him. You gotta call upon Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Ask for guidance. Ask for understanding. You know. You know. This is it's like this is Psalms chapter 32, verse 8. Listen, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. Listen, you heard that? I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. How? By the scriptures, through these scriptures. Through these scriptures. Because listen, people who talk about, I don't need to read the Bible. I don't need to read the Bible. God gives me a gut feeling. Constantly without scripture backing it up, you always want to, back that up with scriptures. You always want to back that up with scriptures. Now, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given you good intuition. You be like, wait, does this situation line up with scriptures? Does this behavior line up with scriptures? Nah. Let me back out of this. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. These scriptures. And Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to give you men. Again, he's going to give you men skilled in these, in utilizing this book and utilizing these scriptures, these precepts. This is how he's going to teach you. He's not going to come down a big beam of light teaching you. Like, okay, my son, my daughter, this is that. Nah. He already did that with Moses. He gave Moses instructions. And these instructions and all these instructions came in the first 5 books. Then he spoke to his prophets. They wrote down, they got it. They got what they got. They wrote down. Boom. It all compiled to this one book. These are his instructions. This is how he teaches you through his scriptures. If you wait for him to come down to teach you, that's going to be a hard lesson. You don't want that. Because once he come down to teach this planet, he's setting things on fire. He's putting people to death. He's throwing he's throwing people in slavery. That's a lesson you don't want to learn. You want to learn the lesson before he gets here. Because when he gets here, the exam is over. The exam is over. He taking up your paper. He taking up your test. Listen to this. This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 23. Listen. The steps of a good man are ordained by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. You see? The ways of a good man is ordained. Excuse me. I said ordained, ordered. Salaki. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delight in his ways. What's another word for ordered? Commanded. Command. Where can you find where can you find his commands? These scriptures. I know a lot of people like to run away from the scriptures. A lot of people want to throw away the scripture and just say, God is in my heart. God knows my heart. The God of this world, yes. Because a lot of things y'all feel sensitive about, or a lot of things offend y'all are in this book. Y'all offended by this book. Y'all are offended by the ways of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Just all you gotta do is look at the elder brother Monazak Bach from South Carolina. He has a plethora of videos of 2/3 of you rebellious Israelites that are offended at the scriptures, that are offended at his commandments, that are offended at his teachings. You know why? Because they lean on their own understanding. They're leaning on their own understanding, and they are not acknowledging Yahweh Shemal Shai in all their ways. That's why they ain't gonna make it. They want to receive a blessing, but they ain't gonna receive it. You only have few people that's gonna receive it. Listen to this. This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 7. Listen. Blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, and whose hope is in the Lord, whose hope the Lord is. You trust in the Lord, and you have hope in him. You got hope in Yahweh Shemal Shai, and whose hope the Lord is, and you hoping on, Yahweh Shai is your hope. You're hoping that Yahweh Shai returns. You're hoping that Yahweh continue to fulfill these prophecies, to have prophecies fulfilled. You're hoping in all these things. You said what? You're gonna be blessed for it. You're gonna be blessed for it, because the people that are offended in the scriptures at his teachings are his enemies. What scripture says, he that's offended in me, I will be offended of him, roughly paraphrasing. No. Oh, no. I've paraphrased that wrong. He that is ashamed of me, he gonna be ashamed of, roughly paraphrasing. Like, and that time, nah. You hated everything I taught about. You hated everything I was about. You hated everything I was trying to bring back to that I'm going to bring to this earth. You scoffed and mocked my prophets. You called them liars. You called them devils. You persecuted them. Nah, it's over with. It's over with. And the crazy thing is, y'all seeing it happen in real time. These prophecies going out. Hurting these folks. These prophecies going out, hurting these folks. Everybody speaking on Iran. As a video that I might do, this woman talking about basically escaping America. Like, girl, these prophecies finna hit the earth. There's no escape. There's no escape. Let me get one more. This is Proverbs chapter 28, verse 26. Listen. He that trusted in his own heart is a fool. Remember, we got what the word heart mean. But whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. Walking in the scriptures. Not leaning on your own understanding, So, yeah. This was the precept of the day. This was the lesson of the precept of the day. We're going to read it again. I got it over here. Again, these are Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And with that, I hope you was edified. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing. Shalom.